Problem 7-78, we're taking a look at calculating the values here of sine of pi over 4. I want to take a look at the exact values and then the decimal approximations. First thing, if I look at the unit circle, I need to locate where pi over 4 actually is. Knowing that all the way around the circle is 2 pi, that means that halfway around the circle is 1 pi. So 180 degrees is 1 pi. If 180 degrees is 1 pi, that means that pi over 4 is 1/4 of that. So 1/4 of 180 is going to be 45 degrees. I now have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. My hypotenuse is 1 because it's the unit circle. And what I need to do now is figure out my other side lengths. Since this problem is asking for sine, the sine value is the height. So I'm looking for the height of this 45, 45, 90. So from geometry, we worked with 45, 45, 90 triangles. And normally what we did is we took our legs, which are both the same, and we multiplied them by the square root of 2 to get our hypotenuse. In this particular problem, we are starting with the hypotenuse, so we need to go the opposite direction and divide by the square root of 2. So I'm going to take 1, which is the hypotenuse, and divide it by the square root of 2. Now, in order to rationalize the denominator, which means get the radical out of the denominator, I need to multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2. And square root of 2 over square root of 2 just equals 1. So I'm not changing the problem, I'm just changing the way it looks. And now I multiply my fractions straight across, so my numerator is 1 times the square root of 2. And my denominator is square root of 2 times square root of 2, which is 2. So my 45, 45, 90 now has a leg of square root of 2 over 2, and this other leg is the square root of 2 over 2 as well, because they're both the same. And since I'm solving for the sine, which is this side here, that means the sine of pi over 4 is going to equal square root of 2 over 2. That is the exact value. For the approximation, I can just type that in my calculator and get the approximation. So taking a look at problem B, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm looking at my unit circle. I know that all the way over here is 1 pi, but I want 2/3 of that. So 1/3 of 180 degrees is going to equal 60 degrees. 2/3 of 180 degrees will be 120 degrees. So my angle then is going to be right over here, where that's 120. Drawing in this triangle then, I now have a 60-degree angle, making this a 30, 60, 90. Again, my hypotenuse is 1. So with a 30, 60, 90, that is half an equilateral triangle. If I would reflect it over this side, I would have another 30 here and a 60-degree angle here, making this an equilateral triangle. All side lengths would be 1, but since I'm dealing with just that red part, I only have half of it, so this is now 1/2. Using my shortcut from geometry to get my long leg then, I multiply by the square root of 3, so my long leg is the square root of 3 over 2. Since this problem, like the last one, is dealing with sine, I only want the y value, the height of that triangle. So my answer is the square root of 3 over 2. That is the exact value. Again, to get the decimal approximation, I can type that in my calculator.